Okay, let's see. It is October 8th. October 8th, Saturday. Frost last night. I dug these. These are elephant ears. Let me show you what they are. A couple I brought in. They look. These are small ones. And they get leaves like this. They get really big. They get huge. Like maybe one like this was huge. But I went out and cut these down. Cut them off and dug them up, pulled them out a couple days ago, so I knew it was going to get cold, because these are tubers, not so much bulbs. They don't like to be froze. They're too soft, but they get huge. And yes, you have to dig stuff up like this up, but it's worth it. It ain't that hard. You just chop them off, cut them off. I love to do it, but I got to use a machete, and you shake off the dirt, let them dry out a little bit if it's nice. I brought mine in so they dry up, and then you let them dry out a few days, and then you cut them up, cut them down. So I'm going to show you what you can do if you have any. So this one here is a multiple stem. I can break them apart, or you can leave them together. Or I like to leave them together until spring if you want to. These are, let's see, that's 4 under that one. Okay. Off this dead stuff. And then you don't have to. My scissors came apart. These are great. These are, can't find these. They're Fisker. I love them. They're kind of a pruner, but you have scissors for cutting off the leaves. So this, you know, get most of the. You don't have to get them. You don't have to get the roots off. You can leave them on. I think they dry better with them off. You don't have to get too tight. They will dry up, and you can just pull them off over time, but they are moisture. Kind of slows it down. So I'm cutting it down pretty good. And then this is called the chrome, not like corn, but C-O-R-M. This one don't need it too much. I'm going to take off a little bit. This will dry down to nothing. Now this down here is last year's chrome, or kind of tuber, and it grows, uses the energy off of this to make this. So I'm going to leave this one. It seems to be pretty solid yet. It's kind of mushy in the middle. Sometimes I find you get that mushy part out. Usually they're pretty much all used up, but they will store. I'll keep an eye on it though. So these have all been trimmed down. Throw them in the garbage. I don't want to do that. Okay, those are all trimmed. Let me see one here, one that looks a little longer. Roots off. There's a little one coming there. I'm just going to leave that on. But this part here, the green, you don't want to get too far down. You don't want to cut into the there's a tuber. But you want to add about the green part. Keep it off less moisture to be rotting. Pretty good size. Also, I do canna lilies. You got any canna lilies? And I have hundreds. Probably have 400 one time out there, and they are frozen. And they're fine as long as the grass, as long as the ground doesn't freeze. But canna lilies, I wish I had one here. I do to show you what they are. Canna lilies they're a lily, but you have to dig them up. I'm going to show you. People say, "Oh, I don't like digging them up." They're easy. They're easy to do. So these ones I brought in, these are special. These are the ones I have. These are called Bengal Tiger, probably because of the striped leaves. Got these out in Iowa. I think Manchester, Iowa, the greenhouse, they had these in the but there was only 2, and I got these out of there. But I was going to replant this one. But now these, when they're in the ground, you can just cut them off like that, and then leave enough to pull out of the ground, and you know they're there. And then, before the ground freezes, you can go up and pretty much just pull up because they're not very shallow. They're not very deep. Pretty shallow. They usually pull right out. Either that or a fork or shovel, loosen it, pull it out, chop them off like this. And then you would cut them off. I'm not going to cut this one off because I'm going to plant them and keep them through the winter. These ones, because they are special to me, I only have a couple. And then you would whack it off here, and you can just put them in a pile and let them dry down. And those I store in sawdust or perlite or peat moss or just in a box. But they need to be not too warm. You don't want them to dry out. Let's take that one off. You don't want them to dry out, but you don't want them wet. And you don't want them to freeze. You don't want to be too warm. You don't want them at all wet. So dry them out good. I usually store them in a box or something so they're not on top of each other, so they're a little bit, some air gets to them. And then I put them up on a shelf somewhere around here, somewhere in the way usually. And then after Thanksgiving, around Christmas, whenever I get time to it, I go back through and look at them again, and then I'll trim them down a little bit. So this is an elephant ear, and these are what I did, what I grew in the ground. I had some in pots. Usually I grow every one of them, even the tiniest one, because you got even a tiny one, you think it ain't worth it? Well, plant it in the ground, because it'll just dry up over a year of not being planted, and then it'll grow. So you can usually buy these. Stores usually have them in the kiosk aisle. You can buy them for like $10 for a giant one, or two smaller ones for $10. So I've always had them. I think they're pretty cool. This might be quite a challenge to cut that. There, elephant ears. So I'll maybe then come spring, you want to plant these. And let me see if I can find one that actually looks like. I had one there. Well, here's but they kind of usually look like this. I cut half of this off because it was kind of rotten. I'm still going to dig some of that out. But put them in the ground. Usually the cut side is usually what is up. If you ain't sure about any tuber that you're planting, you don't know which side is up, just plant it sideways. It'll grow. It's not like they will not grow. It just takes longer for it to grow around and up. But, what's I saying how to plant them? Elephant ears, yeah, month, 6 weeks before it's warm outside. You will not grow in the ground if it's cold. They like it warm. They like it to be warm, and they won't do nothing or they'll just rot. But when you plant them in a pot, just put them in a pot, water them once, leave them alone. Don't even touch them until you see one coming up like this. When it comes up like that, then you got to give them as much light as you possibly can. Don't put them outside until there's no chance of frost, and they get huge. They're pretty cool. And, one of my favorites. But they are tubers. They need to be brought in. Just like the canna. I do cannas and I do those. And other than that, I don't grow any other type of bulbs or tulips. Like tulips, I have a ton of deer. There's probably 4 of them outside right now at, let's see, almost noon. They're everywhere around here. They love tulips. It's like caviar. But daffodils, plant all the daffodils you want because they do not eat them. That's what I plant around here. So, hope you liked it.